Welcome, welcome. This is episode one, not episode two, because we just did the pilot, and so this is episode one of the Droppa regime. In the pilot episode, we broke down the process of at least how I like to make beats. Kind of jumped in. I want to say a bit not raw, but for those of my viewers who aren't like musically adept or aren't like even technic not yeah that aren't technically adept like to the interface or to the digital audio workspace, the DAW that I work in FL, some things could seem really foreign, and so I did want to go over that for a little bit and then go into what I wanted to really get into today, which was a song breakdown. So if we can do those two things, we're gonna have a blast. And yeah, we're gonna get straight to it. So first, in the in FL, we're gonna break down a couple of things, just the basics. And I'm gonna go through a couple of packs and explain kind of why they're organized the way that they are. Let's say, okay, we're gonna do it as if we were hypothetically making the beat, just to kind of make the process of layering and understanding what we're looking at a bit easier. So first, we can start with understanding in what a melody or what a loop can look like, all the different forms you can really experience them in. We're gonna start by grabbing a loop, similar to how we did with this is as I explained in the pilot episode. Very similar processes. I don't really switch it up unless it's intentional. Unless I know I'm trying something different to elicit a certain type of result, or if I'm doing it consciously, knowing that it's gonna bring something different. So maybe I'm not looking to elicit a certain type of result, but I'm looking to elicit a different result. You feel me? I'm pretty sure these were like shorter loops. This is kind of what I wanted to also show that you can have a loop like. I'm not even gonna touch it. We're just gonna go straight for it. Not even gonna hear it. Okay, 170, right? Just welcome in. I feel like I did that last time, but it's like a voice crack on an 808 is insane. So let's say that's the loop that we want to work with. We can identify this, and the BPM just stands for the beats per minute, so 170 beats per minute. You can hear it with the metronome. This is why you hear it going as fast as it does. This is a bit early, but that's what happens when you don't chop your samples properly. Do you hear it? Do you hear it? I hear it. Do you hear it? Cool. Nothing too crazy. We're not divulging in anything like too complicated. I hope we're able to follow what this process looks like, and what I am explaining makes a bit more sense for those of you that do want to try it yourselves. Before we even pick anything, I want to go over the basics of kick, clap, hi-hat, snare. The first four effects that FL provides for you as far as beat making and the process of it, like the first stock effect. So if I was to pull out a pattern, let's go back to line mode, because when we place in beats and stuff, we want to be on line so things can be exact. As you can see, things are moving exactly to the square. Like how things were kind of off here, you would definitely hear it when it comes down to your beat placement, like the placement of certain things. And sometimes things sound better off place, but that's a whole nother. That's very situational. But you just have to have the ear for it. So let's say we started off with the drum. I mean, not drum. Yeah, that's the kick. The kick drum. Yes. So we start off with the kick. That's a generic kick. Don't know why I keep looking here when the camera's here. That's a generic kick. That's what they provide for you. The stock kick, stock clap. So if I was to do, I realized I didn't need a loop for this. The loop's here to stay. This is just, I put the loop here so we can understand the process of beat making and break it down a bit easier, or like get down to the basics a bit easier. So the BPM and things like that would be better explained with an active loop. That would be helping you bridge the gap between application and then general knowledge. So okay, you see me say I never brought the loop on. You see me do all the kicks and claps, and then you try to figure out how to apply it without the loop, and now you're lost into the next into the next video. No, but okay. There it is. Just like that. Boom. And then what could be confusing, or what you would want to know as far as like if you were getting into producing, and this is the interface of choice for you, is how to copy certain schemes and copy certain things over beat patterns to make the process easier. I know in the video I've recorded in the pilot. For the pilot, we didn't necessarily go over exact, like, I'm pretty sure in a brief moment I explained, but I wanted to make sure that was kind of also encapsulated in this section of the video before we got to the song breakdown. And so if you want to line things up and copy and paste them over to the second half, which is what I'm about to explain, how to line things up and copy and paste them over to the second half, so that you're not just typing away or tapping away trying to do a hi-hat pattern one tick at a time and lose your mind. Control B obviously is, well, not obviously, because obviously people don't know it, but Control B is how you copy a pattern, is how you directly copy and paste a pattern. So that one movement, see, undo, you highlighted it like that, highlight by hold, move over, highlight, and then Control B, copy paste, and it moves it over to the next available, which is why it moves it over to the next available space in the segment that you have, magnified. So it's on line, so it moves it over to the very next line. Obviously, if you were to zoom closer in and then break it down further, you would see there's more available, so that it would have done it to that line if I would have used 1/6, but I'm using just regular line, which is 1 over. But if you want to do it to the exact bar, which is far more likely what you'll be using it for. So if I was to, okay, so this is here, doom, clap, doom, doom, clap. So it'll likely be the same for the next 2 bars. We Control B, and then once we have that multiplied, y'all know how multiplication works, kind of like germs. So we go from 2 to 4 to 8. And we do the same with the drums, to do the one, got to do the other. So get the first half, Control B. And now this is 1/2 on its own, Control B. And if we were to play the whole thing out, it would sound a little something like that. Boom, 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 clap. This is your basics of boom bap. I hope that process at the very least was very digestible and made sense. Before we move on to hi-hats and snares, something you always must, this rule of thumb for your kick. This is not just your kicks, but also your flat out 808. So let me grab an 808 right quick. Just sometimes I like to layer my kicks and 808s together. It makes the process easier. And once I do this, we've already learned that we can copy. Oh, missed one. Thanks for catching it. And so we can go over here, go to the 808, copy the first half. Bombagla. Ignore that. The only reason I deleted that, it'll not mess up the copying process, but we already have this on the line, so it won't be read. Like, as far as like pasting goes, it's not necessary, as you'll see. I'll rather show you. See, it's not necessary. Control B, and now we should have a full pattern. But what I wanted to explain, what you want to do, rule of thumb for kicks and 808s, and let's isolate this so I can kind of make this point. I'll do it with the kick and just the kick. Oh, it's giving me the option. Read, JD, read. Okay, so we can hear the quality of the 808 now. It's nice, nothing to write home about, at least not on a technical aspect. So when you're in, watch how I go into it. I just simply click the 808. Wait, this is already down. Okay, so the delay's already down. Turn the attack down. You want to make a perfect square. The idea with this is a perfect square. The hold gets extended to the max. The decay, suspension, and release all get reduced. You only want the hold. The hold gives you that nice, tight pause, 808 or kick. So I use these for my drums. I've learned this from producers that I've had produce for me. Sat down in plenty of workshops and just soaked in the knowledge and watch how they did things and why they did things. It just gives you that nice and sharper kick, like that. Not sharper necessarily, like it's not like a high, but it's a very complete and fulfilling kick. And same with the 808. So obviously we just have the kick going on right now. So, and if I layer that with this, we're not building a beat. We're just understanding the fundamentals and breaking down the basics of why we do what we do, so that we can be able to better apply it moving forward. Snares. Also change these. These are the presets that this is aligned with. So these numbers are the corresponding presets. So, well, inserts rather. The preset is what you put on the insert. So if I was to do this, these are all presets. Every number you see right here on the mixer track is the corresponding insert. So if I wanted my, wait, I muted everything. Silly JD. Ew, nasty. I like 808s. 808 is 1, correct? So if I want my 808 just like disgustingly like, these is okay. Before I even describe what I just did, I have to describe the pieces of the equalizer. These are your lows, the low end of your voice. Mediums, where you get that telephone type of feel, that telephone type of sound. And I'll explain a lot more of that when I start breaking down vocals and different recording style. I definitely just heard my accent. Different recording styles and and things of that nature. But until we get there, just breaking it down for the use of, and I'm mad, I'll get that later. But yeah, just breaking down the use for it. Like when you're modifying the effects that you're using, this is the low end, medium, and the high of, whatever is in the mixer. So if I was to, like, this is for the 808s. So if I was to turn down the highs, just unforgiving, rocking. If I take out the lows, highs, ill. I feel like you can hear the skeleton of the 808, just kind of rattling around. But that's the high for you. And then that's the high for you. And then you have the mids. And all three of these components together, and obviously they can't exist to be broken down into more than 3. It was underneath at first, and I don't know, like, I didn't know how to get it from underneath. That's why I was saying I was mad about earlier. I'm sorry. I didn't, like, it's been broken for so long for me. We've broken down the first 3, and we've broken down what we use the equalizer for, at least in reference to the effects that we're using. So like the kicks, the clap, well, not the clap yet, but we have used the clap, but we haven't used the equalizer for the clap yet. But using it for the 808 and the kick, seeing how it modifies the low ends, mediums, the highs. If you want to give it a little bit more punch, what to do, how to tighten it up so that it's a bit more whole of a kick, a bit more whole of an 808, has that punch entirely. And then if you're making like say if you were trying to get more of a kind of like a dreamy or wondrous feel, you would add like a reverb, maybe a convolver, but you don't want your 808s to get too messy, too muddy. Is a lot more of what I'm saying, but there are very particular times and for very distinct uses in which this does come in handy. So obviously this is what you were going for. Wow, my brain just did that. I caught that on camera. That's insane. So obviously this is what you were going for. My speech stopped and mimicked the pattern. What you were going for. All right. All that aside, but yeah, if you wanted to use reverb or convolver to make your 808s or kicks a bit more, dreamy, have it a bit more spacious, the separation, this is what you want, or like at least what you're looking more for. Spread. You see how, like, if I was to merge the sound a bit more, you see the stereo, I want to say the best way to describe this, because this is left to right, right? You can only hear this on your left side. Over here, it's on your right side now. Keep things in the middle, keep them balanced. There's also the pancake. Whoa, slow down. There's also pancake, which is what I use for my panning. Pancake is, what is it, VST? Just another effect that you can download and add, help add another dynamic to your music in whatever form of fashion that is, or what that looks like for you. So this is like the most very basic form of it. This will take you from left to right to left to right in a very succinct, and I mean, you can make it go faster with these options. So I'll break that down as well. But, so you see how we're I do this a lot for my background vocals, especially when I'm like using, like, how I said I was trying to, like, when you're trying to achieve that like dreamy feel, like that more fluttered feel, that spacious, euphoric kind of, yeah. Just another aspect you can use to make your drums a bit more dreamy and punchy. Now on to the hi-hats. Me personally, I don't be having the time of day for hi-hats. Big fan of hi-hat midis. Send your hi-hat midis to me. But it depends. It depends on the type of mood I'm in, the type of beat I'm making. I'll do it by hand. I'll, make the pizza by hand. Or if I'm really looking to, all right, I just need this, or a quick pattern to help it get out the way. But I'm really particular with what I do with the hi-hats that I have, like post pattern, so like effects and whatnot. So let's go through a couple of hi-hats just to pick one. I don't know. I like this immediately. Listen to your heart, follow your soul. It knows. And be okay with being wrong. But don't be so okay with being wrong that you're not able to be right. You're not able to grow from your wrong, Don't live in it. Bit of jewels. We not the jewel dropper regime for nothing. We not the jewel dropper regime for nothing. All right. But to the hi-hat pattern. So, silly me. How could I forget? If you don't want to go straight for two-step, this is perfect, exactly what I was talking about. How you can kind of drag and drop a two-step. It's only a two-step sounding that fast because it's 170 BPM. So if the BPM sounds like this, then the two-step sounds like this. Why do I like this? All right, whatever. You can either fill in two steps. This is the same thing we just looked at. Whoa. Loop points. Turn them off, because if not, you'll hear that repeatedness that we did not put there. Start being able to build and grow as a unit when we all, looking out and have that knowledge and sharing it. Knowledge is powerful. Another jewel. Now what are we gonna do with these? Well, first, like we said, we're gonna grab a MIDI. Do we like this? What is this pattern? This is about to sound gnarly. This is a hi-hat? Oh, because of it's probably really like at the lowest possible. It's at 1. Yeah, I've never seen it there. Well, let's do a couple of things so we can see what this sounds like, because this is a very interesting pattern, as you can see. That was way sicker than I needed it to be. This might actually get saved now because of that. Yeah, no, I won't save it. Wait. Silly ass boom baps, come back. It isolate the hi-hat. And we're gonna move it up a couple octaves just to see what it sounds like. This is very important. I'm glad that it actually played out this way, because now we can, oh my God, we can see what it looks like to move things up an entire octave, which is also something I did in the previous video. I feel like I kind of showcased not like everything, but like definitely most everything I'd be doing in my beats. I feel like it was a very good example. Then shift and up takes you up one space. I believe control and up. Okay, I thought it didn't move. I thought like one of them didn't. I thought like you see how it doesn't move because it's the same thing. Regardless, but that's how you move things up in an entire octave. We talked about the separation earlier. This is what it sounds like separated. So we add a bit more of that airiness. We add a delay to it. I'll turn down the like overall like mix level of the delay. So this, is how much is coming in. So if I do, it's coming immediate. So what is the volume out, the overall output of it, like the loudness of it. So if I do this to the max, then it's gonna present as loudly as possible. We turn this down, and the level is how often, like not how often, but how much it repeats. So if I turn it down to this, it'll probably repeat like once, like mainly that you'll hear it, and then it'll slowly start to fade out. But as it fades out, it'll be a lot quicker. So with this, you'll probably only hear it once, maybe once and a half. Versus if I turn the level all the way up and you see it's getting red, because it's not supposed to be that high up, because it's a lot harder to stop, and it's definitely not enjoyable past a certain point. So if I was to, this is orange. So I thought it started stopping way on itself and it's stuff me to slow down. I paused it. I want you to know it's paused right now. It's now going. And just so we don't have to sit through that entirely, that's why you don't turn the delay all the way up. One of the things I do to my hi-hats is I add delay. I also add reverb and convolver depending on if I'm trying to add that spacious, dreamy sound. I've just been finding them on the first try. Maybe that's just what the luck has been. It's muted, and that's why we didn't. Oh my God, the level, I forgot about it. Why didn't anybody tell me? Snares. I wanted to touch on snares before I got off of this topic of beat making. So I feel like that's definitely more of a fit for the boom bap. I definitely like the snare pattern more than I like the snare, and I do like the snare, but I feel like that snare pattern has such a place somewhere else, because like I said, I won't be going over the snares for real. Everything I do to the hi-hats, I essentially do to the snares. I've explained the emergence and the separations of the stereos. This is a volume knob. These, your lows, mediums, your lows, your mids, and your highs. Just looking over, make sure everything, like there's nothing else I want to touch on. Yeah, no, I won't save it. Really had a time looking at that and contemplating. But we're gonna come back to bang out. We're gonna break down these aspects on the digital and fundamental level. We're gonna break these down on the musical business level. Why I made the decisions I made with bang out. Things I could have done better. Maybe you learn from me. Maybe you say, hey, JD, I noticed you did this. You could have did this. And then I start making that a broadcasted thing like, hey, I could have did this and I didn't. You should do this and you should do this and learn from these mistakes. We start to, like I was saying earlier, build on the community that we are. See ya. Till next time.